In my life, I have had and acted upon an alarming number of disturbingly bad ideas. And I have shared a number of those here at Story Slam, including a story about how I destroyed my car while attempting to push Chris's car, Chris is my wife, to push her stalled but much larger car up a hill. My engine exploded. It threw a rod through the crankshaft. It sounded like an explosion. Destroyed the car. And in fact, I have such a history with boneheaded ideas that my wife and I, Christine and I, actually have a phrase that we use all too often to sort of describe the aftermath of one of these idiotic moments. We'll look at the consequences of my latest travail, and also known as debris. and we'll say, bad idea, poorly executed. So I see myself as an expert on bad ideas. And I've come to believe that there are really at least two major categories of bad ideas. There's the results-oriented, no doubt about it, bad idea. For example, decide to push your wife's car with your car up a hill. Car explodes. Bad idea. Poorly executed. Case closed. But the second category of bad idea are those bad ideas that are judged to be bad ideas before all the results are in. and one example of that would be Chris and I deciding to get married. Okay. Relax. I ran this concept by her before I tried it out in public. I may have a history of bad ideas, but I'm no damn fool. So that kind of idea, an example of that kind of idea, was us getting married. And my point is, if an objective observer looked at us in 1971, he or she could come to the reasonable conclusion that the odds were against us. I mean, I was still in school, working part-time jobs. Chris had graduated. She had a job, full-time job, but that didn't pay very well either. We had some pluses. Yes, we were in love, and that's good, but that's no guarantee. We were young. I don't know, do you put that in the plus column or the minus column? But we did have some things going for us. So we decided to, we got married, and things worked out. But I just, it just did not look good necessarily. And I think our parents, they didn't work against us or do anything against us to stop us from getting married. But you have to believe that your parents, our parents and our families wanted good things for us. They don't like to see us struggle. And so they probably had some reservations about our getting married. And I think some of those reservations were exposed one night at our house, our apartment, when my parents and some aunts and uncles came over for a visit shortly after we got married. Now, our first apartment was 4 rooms. We only had enough furniture for 3, so we closed off one room. Our first apartment didn't have central heat, or baseboard heat, or any kind of heat, really. It was $60 a month, which even in '71 was a good deal. But it had, in the kitchen, there was a gas-on-gas stove. Now, a gas-on-gas stove is, as you would suspect, a gas stove, and you have the oven on the right side of the stove. And on the left side of the stove, they sort of included a gas heater. Now, that gas heater, when it was really going well, would make the area around the stove rather toasty. Eventually, the kitchen would get comfortable. But if you left a glass with an ice cube in it in the living room overnight, that ice cube would not melt. So my parents and my aunts and uncles are over the house, and we're in the kitchen where it's warm. And we're just having this conversation, talking and everything. And my Aunt Caroline turns and says to my Aunt Florence, but we could all hear this, it was meant for everybody. My Aunt Caroline says, "See, you don't need nice things to be happy." Well, it's true we didn't have much, but we had enough. We had enough, and we were young, and we were in love, and we were happy. And 47 years later, we're no longer young, but we're still in love, and we're still happy. And why is that? Well, I chalk it up to lots of love and no small amount of good luck. And also to two things I've learned in those 47 years. One, you don't need nice things to be happy. And two, even if an idea on its face seems to be a terrible idea, sometimes your happiness depends on pursuing that. Because marrying Chris, the best bad idea ever.